All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of It Is What It Is podcast, hosted by the one, the only Cody Kelly. Connect with me on IG at CVMK33. I am super excited about this episode because this episode has two giants in their own right. They both average 2 points on their respective playing teams, one for the Roseland Warriors and Pasadena Winds. The other one for the Carl Sandburg or Gerling Junior High Jayhawks. I'm super excited. These two guys are sports aficionados. They do know what they're talking about, and they do have a differing opinion. Most of the time it's wrong because you have Kobe fans that don't have rationality. Recipes Code, but this is going to be an exciting episode. I'm going to get into it. Welcome to the show, Pastor David Williams and Roger Walls. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. What up?
Good. You guys ate your weeds and took your vitamins because I'm ready.
Always ready.
I wore a suit jacket just for you two gentlemen.
Let's kick it off. Mamba fans are always ready, sir.
Always ready. Let's kick it off. First question. And I'll give this one to Pastor Williams. Will sports ever return to normal with COVID-19? You know, obviously seasons are trying to restart. They're talking about social distancing. They're talking about operating within a bubble or a confined space. Are we ever going to get back to going to the games? Will there ever be a return to normalcy?
It's over with, y'all. We had a good run. I think this thing is over with. You know, following what's going on in the NBA. And I respect Adam Silver and his team, but even what they're trying to do, I think it's about over with, y'all. I don't think we'll never be back to the norm as we enjoyed and looked at sports ever again.
Ooh, Roger, are we ever going to get back to normal?
Normal, I would say no. I think the new normal is going to be different. I do feel like we'll get back to a point where we'll be able to get back in the stadiums and, you know, enjoy the games. But I don't think it'll be anytime soon. I'm thinking at least 5 years at this point. And unless there's a drastic change in this COVID situation, I think it'll remain the way it is right now for a little while. But I guess that raises the question too, you know, now that we've experienced this, are they now going to be different outlooks on big crowds as a whole? So, you know, yes, COVID-19 is going on, but what about, you know, what happens when, I don't know, COVID 2030 happens, you know? So I think that concern will always be there. So I think the restructure is going to be slightly different from the normal that we've been used to throughout the years.
It makes sense. Look, I got a disturbing notification that the Carolina Panthers released Cam Newton via text. First of all, that is the most ignorant form of dismissal I've ever heard of. If it's true and Cam verified it is, was that situation handled properly? Was it racial? I mean, if you think about it, if you're working for an organization, even if you're not performing well, they at least owe you a face-to-face or a phone call. To be dismissed via text message, what are your thoughts, Roger?
Well, I think first of all, with Cam being a former league MVP, that's extremely disrespectful. Even if he wasn't MVP, but let's just take out that Cam was in the face of the Carolina Panthers. Cam had put the Panthers back on the map. Like I say, he was an MVP. He got into the Super Bowl. I think what bothered me the most about it, besides the text message, was the actual timing of the text message, because I think Carolina knew all along that they were going to move on from Cam Newton. And, you know, during the time frame where the, you know, free agent signings, especially if quarterbacks, was, you know, rampant and going by so fast, I feel like the way they held on to Cam Newton to the last minute was unfair. And I feel like it was personal. I'm not sure, you know, what could have drove them to that point where they decided where that would be okay, or this is going to be a good way to get back at Cam, or trying to, you know, put Cam down, or whatever the case may be. But I think the timing of it was the worst part. Obviously, the text message is disrespectful and dismissive, but, you know, if it happens and Cam's out there and he's picked up by somebody, you know, relatively quick, done the right time frame, I think that's, you know, kind of helps the situation out. But I think the timing of it was far too ironic that they held on to him for that long. So I think that's what raises the biggest eyebrow was the timing release of Cam Newton.
Makes sense. Pastor Williams, you get a text message. Church of God in Christ just fired you. You mad? You big mad? What do you think about Cam Newton? Dismissal via text.
I'm pretty sure y'all don't want me to answer that one. I think it's totally bogus. I believe that it does have a racial appetite to it, but I will say this: by them getting rid of Ron Rivera, and Cam, and this new coach who's supposed to be the offensive guru, I think is to establish that it's his way and no other way as well. Football is a different culture, so I think it's racial, but that football culture thing is a little different than most cultures. So that coach probably want to put his hands on the team and let everybody know, even Cam get treated like everybody else.
Ooh, get treated like everybody else. Let me read Cam's stats. 2019 alone. Now, granted, he had a bad 2019. I don't take that from him. 2019 threw for 572 yards, 1 pick, 0 TDs, 6 sacks. Everybody know he was injured. You can't take 2019 and evaluate him. But over his career, 29,000 yards thrown, 182 touchdowns, 108 picks, a little high, 291 sacks with a QBR 86.1. To me, Cam Newton is the 5th best quarterback in the league. And when I throw my top 5, I say 1 is Patty, 2 is Brady, 3 is Russell, the 4th is Drew Brees, and the 5th one, when he's healthy, you cannot deny the talent of Cam Newton. What is your top 5 QB, Pastor Williams?
Did you include Aaron Rodgers in that at all?
Hello, that's a bad. You can't forget the bad man. You can't forget the bad man.
Roger, did I? Oh, I didn't know. Did I miss something? Definitely Patty Mahomes. I will go with Russell Wilson, Tom Brady. No, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Raj, top 5.
Top 5: Pat, Rodgers, Russell, Brees, Brady.
Oh, what? I don't understand the obsession with. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. Fully healthy Cam. You're talking about a 6'5", 250-pound machine. When I look at him, I see LeBron James. I see the.
That's the problem. Go ahead, though.
And that's
Thank you,
beautiful.
Good one, Raj.
That's the problem.
All the Kobe fans and Kobe haters out there. Look, anyway, let's go to Pat Mahomes' contract. Raj, start with you. Look, this has been amazing. This is, to me, is the NFL moving in the right way. Increasing guaranteed money. Now, obviously, I think the salary cap is going to go down when they look at league revenue because of COVID. But 10 years, $450 million, $10 million in a signing bonus, $63 million guaranteed when he signed, and he has a no trade clause. Is this a turn in the right direction, or is this like, see, we told you we gave him the money and he couldn't perform?
No, I honestly, I have full confidence in Pat Mahomes that he'll perform. He has the weapons around him to perform, not to mention that obviously he's a generational talent. I think it is the step in the right direction as far as football and contracts go. And I am happy that, someone of color is receiving such a large contract and being praised so much for their talent. Something actually I want to touch on a little bit when it comes to football and contracts and money. I have a problem with. So we all know the quarterback has always been usually your face of your franchise, or you want your quarterback to be the face of your franchise, right? But we all know that the quarterback needs a line. The quarterback needs a running back. The quarterback needs somebody to throw to, correct?
Yep.
And I'm sure you guys have noticed lately, I feel like the running backs in the NFL have been given a very raw deal as far as the money they're able to make after they've gotten older. So if you come out of college, right, there's certain, like a quarterback. I mean, you have your guys like the Pat Mahomes, and they come out and they're, Lamar Jackson, they come out and they're, pretty polished 1 to 2 years in. But for your running back, a lot of times is ready to come out and produce right away, right? You're talking about an 18, 19-year-old kid, maybe 20. but you're coming out. I know you're getting a rookie contract. So the time you've done something and given your body, the best years of your body as a running back to the football team, and now you're 26, maybe 27. Mm-hmm. As an organization, they're looking at you like this guy's older now. He's not going to be who he was when he's 30 years old. So we're going to offer him this money, but that contract money it never speaks to what that guy has done for the organization. It's always okay. Well, what are we going to get out of him in the future? And I think running backs are getting a raw deal after they've already given sometimes the best of their career earlier on, but they're not making the money they should be. Right. So I feel like I said, I'm happy for Pat Mahomes. The quarterbacks are always making good money, and they're always resetting the bar, every few years as far as the contract goes. And I'm happy to see that because, obviously I have the NFL. I have my dislikes about the NFL when it comes to money and contract and how the owners operate with the players. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I feel like there needs to be something in place, whether it be further incentives in the contracts, rookie contracts, or whether there's a new minimum for rookie contracts, especially with running backs, that they don't get screwed over because they're getting screwed over. Like the Derrick Henry is a perfect example. I don't know if he's got a new contract extension yet or not, but Derrick Henry just put the Tennessee Titans on his back.
He did.
I think he's mid-20s now, maybe going to his late 20s, and if he may, I have to look up. I'm not sure if he didn't get the contract, he won't get the contract that he deserves. So I just feel like for other positions, there needs to be something done earlier on in players' careers to protect them, so they can actually make the money that they deserve. And because for a quarterback, quarterback can play, Tom Brady, perfect example, 40, 41 years old. But for other positions, though, these guys out there, playing as hard as they can and constantly getting hit and constantly taking contact. But later on, when they, deserve the money they should get, they're not getting it because as an organization, which I'm not saying they're wrong from a business standpoint, they're not getting what they should be the time that time is here for them. So I feel like the NFL needs to, at least the owners and everything, needs to loosen their grip as far as money. Mm-hmm. And to me, they deserve more money. They should be paying more. Like I said, the Pat Mahomes contract, that's great. But quarterbacks historically have always made a good amount of money. I want to see other players make good money too. Running backs, receivers usually get a pretty good amount of money. But even with them, a lot of times those guys, like receiver, can come out and be ready to produce right away. But years down the line, if he gets used up, he, in a way he doesn't get the money that he deserves. So that's my biggest issue right now when it comes to money. Great for Pat Mahomes, but I think these other players deserve some big contracts as well.
And I agree with you. I agree with you and Damon, who stated Roger is absolutely right about running backs. They should come out early and get more money up front. Here's my thoughts. Quarterbacks are treated like CEOs. They're treated as a very privileged position, and the organization's ultimate focus is to protect the longevity of the quarterback. Even though, to me, the most impactful player on the team is usually your running backs or your DEs, the ones that are actually doing the grunt work, because they're treated like widgets that you can just basically make them interchangeable. They have never received the proper respect. And when you do get that Emmett, Smith, when you do get the Adrian of the world, by the time you recognize how great they are, the damage has been done. A running back gets hit every single play, even when they don't have the ball, because a running back is a lineman. The running back is a receiver. The running back literally has to do three functions on the field versus a quarterback who only has one function, and that's basically to operate the offense, right? So it's an ignorant display of truth. In my opinion, running backs should get paid faster. I believe their rookie contract should be accelerated. I think quarterbacks should have more of a waiting period because they're not taking the full frontal abuse because they do have longer careers. Like TB12, this is what, 21 years now, right? Versus, where is black dude that looks like me that played for the Bears? Forte, where is he? I could pass him at Forte. They wouldn't even know. I'm at Forte, so it's unfortunate and it's true. I'm going to toss this one to Pasadena Williams. $450 million guaranteed. Is this a start in the right direction?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so for me, I disagree a little bit. Number one, this is a perfect storm for Pat Mahomes.
Gotcha.
Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson are like Cody Kelly. And Cam Newton is like me and Raj. We're a little rough on the edges. So to mainstream. So Patrick Mahomes, it's just a perfect storm. His coach loves him. He's in a great city. They just won. Everybody knew he had greatness. Matter of fact, I used to watch him at Texas Tech. And I used to think, man, this guy's crazy. He'll do anything, right? So I think that it's a perfect storm of the timing of it. But I'm still watching the Zach Prescotts and the Lamar Jacksons. I still want to see what happens behind them. But when I saw it, I knew he was going to get paid, but I didn't know he was going to get paid.
Yeah.
He got paid.
When I saw that number, I was like, is that possible? $500 million? I didn't think it was possible in sports that somebody, I'm going to give you $500 million. But if anybody can get it right now out of all the athletes, it's him. And he's a man of color, like Raj said. I'm down with it. I think when it comes down to running backs, Raj, I think that the NFL look at it like the quarterbacks that we have right now, they do a lot of running.
Yeah,
Mahomes, Russell Wilson, they kind of looking at it like, I'm not going to pay two of y'all when he doing 25% of your job because we're really not going to give y'all the carries that you used to have. And how they treating Henry in Tennessee, now that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
So I did do a fact check. They did reach an agreement. Henry's got a 4-year extension for $50 million. But to me, why is it not $80 million?
Right.
What's the total contract? 50?
Yeah, just the extension was 4 years, $50 million.
Okay. Is this his second contract?
I believe so. Let's see.
It should have been 80.
Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, so it's 4 year, $50 million. It's $25.5 million guaranteed.
Okay. Didn't they just sign Ryan Tannehill as well?
Yeah, Ryan got let's see.
Yeah.
And not worth it.
Right.
Reflecting on the Ryan Tannehill contract, right? So I know Ryan Tannehill stepped up and played a solid role as a quarterback, right? He didn't make mistakes. He was able to game manage. He made smart throws. But the defense was focused on who? Derrick Henry. So without Derrick Henry, does Ryan Tannehill have the same success? I don't think so, personally.
No, because we didn't have that in Miami.
Because he's special. But all these running backs ain't special. And I want to end on this. Why didn't the Bears consider Cam instead of going after Nick Foles that early and that aggressive and giving up what they gave up? Let me
interject right there because you actually led into my next question.
I'm sorry.
I'll begin with you naming, is the Chicago Bears organization racist? It has never drafted a black quarterback. It has never even considered a black quarterback. It skipped out on Patrick Mahomes, skipped over Deshaun Watson, picked up Mitch Trubisky out of North Carolina. Quarterbacks don't come from North Carolina. Then went and signed Nick Foles when you had a healthy Cam Newton. You had Teddy Bridgewater out there. You have Colin Kaepernick. You have viable options, and you get somebody. Yes, he won a Super Bowl. Gronk should have caught that. Look, I still think the Patriots won that one. I don't disrespect the Eagles win, but that was more of the Patriots losing than whatever. But you skip over real talent for two quarterbacks whose ceiling is B+ at best. Is the Chicago Bears a racist organization?
Yes, Cole. Yes, they are. And I hate to say it because I love my Bears. But yes, they are. And I believe it's strategic. It's because they are any of those names that you would have named. If they are here, it's a no-brainer who's running this town. Period. It's a no-brainer. We can't. They threw Mitch down our throat. And when we saw him play, we were like, oh, we can't get behind him. But can you imagine this town with an African-American quarterback that was just decent?
Right.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm old enough to go back to the Vince Evans era. And he wasn't even good. He just had a great arm. And we would just go crazy that he can throw it 65 yards. And he wasn't even great. So, I yes, the Bears are racist and it's strategic as well.
Roger, the Bears organization racist? Do they need to change owners now?
So I think it's hard for me based on like I don't say experience, but my timeline as far as remembering back to like call them flat out racist. Do I think they need a change in structure of who's in charge of drafting and scouting? Absolutely. Deshaun Watson sent out a tweet. It was I don't know if it was this year or a couple of years ago. And I think the topic on Twitter was basically people were saying the Bears are racist on all the quarterbacks they passed up. And Deshaun Watson said the Bears not even once even talked to him.
Wow.
Not even talked to him. So I hate to throw that accuser out there, but I mean when you look at all the facts, it's hard to not say that. I'll say that. I mean, I definitely think they need to change the structure.
We gave up a draft pick for Trubisky.
Yeah,
we moved up.
Matter of fact, the last black quarterback I remember throwing the ball for the Bears was we picked up an old rusty Cordell Stewart. Remember that?
I remember.
Cordell. Honestly, I don't know, was Cordell even the starter, or did somebody, or was he Jim Miller's backup? Was that same time?
We picked up not Rusty Cordell, but we picked up an older Cordell Stewart. Jim Miller got injured, and then all of a sudden Cordell slid into that starting position.
Right,
and he had some success.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible, and that was an older Cordell.
That's true.
Dude, it's crazy to think of that. What I think about is the fact that you get rid of Lovie Smith.
I agree, Devon. Sorry, go ahead, Cody.
And you pick up, and I'm not against Matt Nagy. I think he's a good coach. But you can't tell me if you switch Lovie and Matt Nagy, Lovie doesn't get the same results.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my issue with that. I can understand if Lovie if we had tremendous failure with Lovie, but we didn't. That's the thing that you look at. Okay, good example, and I don't know the history behind this because to quote Stephen A. Smith, I'm just paraphrasing, but he's referencing Marvin Lewis, who used to coach the Cincinnati Bengals, who've been there for I don't know how many years, and just never. I don't think they ever won a playoff game or ever got out of the first round, and he kept his job. So Stephen A. Smith said, I don't know who he is doing what to over there, but it's working. But and that's a perfect example. Lovie Smith was not I understand that you said sometimes you just want to change in leadership, but from what I remember, like it wasn't like Lovie had a bad relationship with any players. Players liked them. They just needed a quarterback to get to the next step. At that time, that's all we were missing was a quarterback to get to the next step. So getting rid of Lovie Smith to me was just, hey, we gave this black man, a couple years. It's not working out. Let's go ahead and, let's switch it. He was like there's a lot of going on in the world right now. If you haven't noticed, there's a lot of pacifying going on. It's big going on, but now it's been brought to the light. But you can tell there's a lot of pacifier methods. Perfect example is the NFL talking about for the anthem. Now they're going to sing the black anthem. I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't care. That is a pacifier method. I don't care about that. And I feel like a lot of things. A lot of things that are done are just pacifier methods. I think as a community, as a people, we're over being pacified because a lot of times it depends on our emotions. And just like a baby, when a baby cries, a baby's emotional, right? He's crying. What do you do? Give him a pacifier.
In the pacifier.
The same thing.
Well said. I'm gonna switch focus on this one. NBA is about to restart. They're in Florida right now in the bubble. I personally have the Lakers coming out with the championship. I have GOAT James getting his 4th one. And I know you guys are Kobe fans. So you guys are conflicted in your interest because the Lakers possibly could get a title. Roger, I'll start with you. Who comes out? Who wins this championship? And is it valid or is it an asterisk?
Okay, well, I'll start with that first. To me, whoever wins, there's an asterisk there. I'm sorry. I hate to be like that. And I know the circumstances are uncontrollable, but in my mind, it's an asterisk because let's just say, I'm just speaking hypothetical, right? Let's say the Lakers play the Rockets, but Russell Westbrook and James Harden can't play because they both have the coronavirus, and the Lakers walk past the Rockets. How do I not? I mean, I guess you could make the point of, well, what if they both were injured? But we all know the likelihood of that is a lot less given past history. But who comes out? I think there's 2 factors in this. Well, maybe three. One, the team that's in the best shape. That's going to matter. Two, who has all their players that they, we're starting with, and three, whoever gets hot. Honestly, I mean, it's a short tournament, so whoever gets hot, whoever has the most players available, and conditioning for me. So if I had to take a wild card guess, I'm not even a fan, but out of the West, I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I'm gonna go Clippers in the West. I am a Lakers fan too, so I would like to see them win. And actually, LeBron had he grew on me a little bit throughout the year. I was like, okay, I'll deal with it. But I think just the way, because we've lost A.B. Bradley's gone, Rondo's hurt now. A.B. Bradley, a great two-way player. He was hitting the shots. He was starting to get in the rhythm with the team and stuff. So I think it's a big hurt, probably more than people realize. And then when LeBron's on the floor, Rondo was the other person that was the playmaker, the facilitator as far as with the basketball IQ. You don't have that now. So you're looking at probably, and I'm sure LeBron is rested and he kept his body up, but you look at him playing probably even more minutes than he was probably expected to play, even though it would still be a lot, but it'll be even more now. And then as far as East, I gotta go Bucks.
Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with the trees in Milwaukee, man. I mean, and I think Giannis is going. I mean, Giannis is used to somebody rejuvenated from a rest. And then remember, he was injured when this whole thing happened. Remember, he had set out those first couple games. Right. Now he's had time to rehab and get back. So those are my picks. But like I said, though, I mean, honestly, I like the fact that it really is. I think it's going to be a toss-up. Like I said, conditioning, who has all the players available. All those things are going to play an important role in this for sure.
Awesome. Name it. One of our commenters, one of our audience members said 1999 was a short season. Remember the Spurs. Tim Duncan gets his first ring, and it's not counted as an asterisk. And I didn't watch it. I was alive. I don't remember them beating the Knicks because it's the Knicks. So is this an asterisk? Who is winning the title this year?
I have to go with Roger. It'd probably be the Clippers. I'm a Laker fan, but not having Avery Bradley. Matter of fact, I think one of the last games the Lakers played against the Clippers, Avery Bradley might have had his best game.
It's a big game for him. Big game for him.
I think that's a big, huge loss for the Lakers. He's a player who don't need the ball, and he takes the responsibility of being a ball hawk. I mean, even when he getting crossed over, he's still wearing somebody down because he just ain't backing down. So right. I'm very, very concerned about that. And I will agree with Roger. LeBron has definitely grew on me as a basketball player and a human being. But I just don't think that we have enough because I think that the Lakers would have won the championship if it wasn't the season one stop. Because I think the cohesion of the team, we were a team.
It was real.
Shortened season, talent, and coaching. It's going to come to the forefront, and nobody has more talent than the Clippers. Over East, I just don't, until Giannis does it for me, it's just, I'm ready for him for it to be his league, but it's just something that people, when they put that wall up against him, it gets in his head. And what Nick Nurse did with the wall and just took his chances with anybody else having 50, and he said, you ain't going to get 50. Any other team would be foolish not to even try it. Especially now, you telling role players to step up when ain't nobody in the stands. Ain't nobody because everybody on the road. And remember, they say role players play better at home. Well, Cody, everybody on the road now. So the Lakers, our role players, that's all we got. We got 2 superstars and other 9 guys that ain't starting nowhere. So I begrudgingly have to say the Clippers.
That's fair. I got 2 curveballs before you guys get off. I know, first of all, thank you again. I know we scheduled for 30 minutes, but you know me, I'm black and Kojic, so I'm going to go over time. So I got 2 questions. Why is Steph Curry hated so much? I personally love Steph Curry. I love him as a basketball player. I love him as a human being. I love him as a husband, a father. I think Steph Curry, to me, other than LeBron James, is the face of the NBA. He is that dynamic. But amongst us, there is so much vitriol, so much controversy with Steph. Pastor Williams, I'm going to see, why is Steph hated on so much?
I mean, well, Cody, I don't know what you're talking about. In my camp, the guys I play with, he's respected the best point guard in the league. So I don't know where's one. He's one of the players, along with LeBron James, that has changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to put it to Steph changed the game. I coach basketball. Shorties ain't trying to dunk no more. Shorties are shooting from 40 feet. 40 feet, like 40, and can't. So he has changed the game. So the hate, honestly, Cody, I'm not up on that. I hear, besides him being who he is, he was a 2-time MVP, correct?
Right.
1-time unanimous?
Yep.
Okay, has that happened before?
No.
Yep.
No.
Okay, so who's he hated by?
They're out there.
They're out there. They're out there. Let me name drop Denzel Goodlow. They're out there.
Okay.
They're out there.
Who would Denzel take over Steph?
God.
He's a big Russell Westbrook guy.
He wouldn't take Russell over Steph Curry, would he?
Yes, he would.
He would take Russell over Moses.
Oh, well, you should have had him in here. This is something he needs. He needs to be in here because come on, man.
Look, next podcast is all versus Russell versus Steph. That's the whole podcast.
I like Steph. Rod, I throw it to you, but we've heard the arguments. I've heard them even other than Denzel in the barbershop. There's animosity against Steph.
Why is that? What did they say about him? Anybody?
Okay, so I have two theories, and one is going to be you look at me crazy when I mention the second one.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times when you do change something or you're an innovator, people always just don't accept that, especially they got an old school mentality. And think about this, you all. I mean, obviously we've all played basketball before. If you're on the court, right, and you're guarding somebody, what's the most frustrating type of person to guard? Somebody who can do what very well?
A shooter.
Shoot the ball. Somebody who can shoot the lights out and you can't do anything with them. It's frustrating. So I don't know if people are relaying to like their experience against a shooter and then that's why they don't like them. I don't know. And here's the crazy curveball. I feel like people look at Steph Curry and they look at his upbringing, with his pops being in the league, and they look at his mom and his sister and his complexion. And I think they have a problem with that. It's crazy as that sounds.
He don't have enough hood in him.
I think that's part of it, Naaman. Honestly, I do.
But Cole, let me say this too, Raj. Not only he's the best shooter of our time, but he has the top five handle of all time.
Yeah.
And he could be top 3 from what I've seen.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
It's in he's just not Reggie Miller. He's just not Ray Allen. He's a problem.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, like I said, I think it's just the for whatever reason, the look of Steph, like I said, it just a lot of our people in our court, they can't get with it.
Right.
Whereas we got the Westbrook who's aggressive and mugging all the time, and they're like, yeah, I can relate to that. But when it comes to Steph, man, they just for whatever reason.
Cody and Roger, are y'all saying he getting Kobe type of hate, or they just ain't feeling?
No, Kobe's hatred wasn't colorism. Kobe's hatred was he was too similar to Mike, and every time you mention him, you mention Mike. So it was like, I don't want to like you because.
Well, Kobe wasn't trying to please you either. Kobe wasn't trying to please anybody.
He wasn't trying to please.
Kobe said, "I'm here to win, and I don't. I'm not looking for fans." So obviously, he had a big following, but like Kobe's mindset was, "I'm here. There's a job for me to do,
right?
And I'm going to do that job." And people like, whereas LeBron's a very likable guy. I would hang out with LeBron.
Yeah.
Kobe is not looking to hang out with you. He's looking to take your heart out. There's a difference there.
There is, and I think to Steph's point, I think people hate on Steph because, like you mentioned, he comes from a 2-parent household. His mother was an Olympian volleyball player. Father played in the league. He's lighter. He's not from the hood. He grew up in the suburbs of Charlotte and Toronto. Like there's almost like even though this might be, like there's this like he's not us, but the reality is,
you know this reminds me of actually. It reminds me of the story that Jalen Rose talks about when he played against Duke with Grant Hill.
Yeah, Grant Hill.
The same thing. He looked at him like, okay, here's this privileged guy. I'm gonna come in here and we gonna whoop him because we're from here and he's from here. It's the same type of dynamic. Same dynamic.
Yeah. Roger, I had a problem with people who played in the suburbs. Public versus that. We were taught that.
Yeah,
it was like a mentality that we're better than the suburbs, and we were taught that. Like it was the word suburban mean privileged,
right?
So that's kind of what was passed down to us.
Yep, and honestly, that could just be the same thing here. It's just like you said, it's a culture thing, and that's the mindset is.
Gotcha. My last question. I'll start with you, Raj. We always talk about the GOATs. We always talk about Mount Rushmore and the top 5. So I got a little different view on it. Instead of top 5 athletes in any particular sport, what about commentators? Nobody ever evaluates the evaluators. It's time to check them. My top 5. This is my list. Mount Rushmore. Number 1, Stephen A. Smith. Number 2, Skip Bayless. Number 3, Howard Cosell. Number 4, Dan Patrick. And my number 5 is either Jackie McCullough or Robin Roberts. I haven't quite decided, but they're about 1A, 1B. I think these 5 individuals have evolved sports talk, sports commentary to the next level. And really the GOAT being Stephen A. Smith, when you look at his just contributions working with the Philadelphia Inquirer, and then having Pardon the Interruption, moving from Pardon the Interruption to Cold Pizza becoming, because of Skip Bayless, now First Take. You can't mention sports and really the top 2 without Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. That is my top 5. I don't think it's debatable after that. I think everybody else is like second tier. But when you talk about moving the needle, there's only 2 names: Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless. Who's your top 5?
Yeah, so I'm going to say this. I think, for me, a top 5 would be hard. Stephen A. Smith, to me, is clearly number 1. I don't think that's even a contest. Like you said, what Stephen A. Not only has he moved the needle for his own career, but I think even just the conversations that they're having because of things that Stephen A. Smith has brought to national TV's attention when it comes to sports, I think Stephen A. Smith is for sure the GOAT. Not even close. Skip Bayless is right there with him. I'm going to tell you who's not up there, though. Shannon Sharp. We'll discuss that in a little bit. You should know why. That he'll never be on that list. But I think, honestly, besides those 2, as far as like all times, if Stephen A. Smith and both or Skip Bayless are involved in the conversation, I feel like they feed off of whoever is involved with them. I do like Jackie a lot. I like her perspective. I think, and honestly, she doesn't do it a lot, but I like Doris Burke a lot too. I like listening to Doris Burke. I like her perspectives a lot on the game of basketball. Some things she mentions in basketball, her perspective on things I've never thought about before. So I enjoy Doris Burke. Jackie's another good one. I'm not sure who I'll go with for number 5, honestly, but Stephen A. Smith for sure, Skip for sure. I enjoy Doris Burke. I enjoy Jackie as well. You know what? Rest in peace, plus Stuart Scott.
Mike Wilbon.
Mike Wilbon's good. Yeah, Mike Wilbon's good. I like Mike Wilbon a lot.
Naming top 5.
For me, the GOAT is Howard Cosell. I know I'm older than y'all because Howard Cosell allowed commentators to have personality. He just wasn't telling nothing. Him and Muhammad Ali basically had sports locked up for 10 years. Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Dick Vitale. When I was coming up, Dickie V was huge, y'all. He was bigger than the actual college game.
Yeah, they want to hear Dickie V's voice.
He came up with all these things that these names that we say. So Dick Vitale was huge for me. They had Big Monday. 5. I'm going to give y'all 2 honorable mentions, and I want y'all to research this. Before we had ESPN rotation, it was a show called The Sports Machine. And there was a guy named George Mike, and he used to come on Channel 5 y'all, maybe about 10:30 after the news, and he did a one man in front of a TV screen, and he was one of the first persons that I heard like actually put commentary and play-by-play together. And then 6 honorable mention. I know y'all gonna hate me for this, and I love hearing this guy because he's not. Matter of fact, he's terrible, Roger. But I love when he's commentating. And that's
Charles Barkley.
Like, Bill Walton don't care about the game.
Bill Walton.
He don't care about what's going on. He want to talk about the Grateful Dead. Somebody hired him for no reason. So that's my list.
Bill Walton don't even be focused on the game. He be like, back in the 70s, me and Lou. I'm like, I do not. I mean, he was a decent athlete.
Don't care about the game. I just like somebody. I like people who are confident who they are, good or bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, look, this is all the time we have. Naaman, where can they connect with you? What are you doing? Where can the people follow you at?
What's up, y'all? I'm Pastor Naaman Williams. I pastor the greatest church in the world. Sorry, Raj. Cody, where you go? I'm sorry. Anyway, so you can meet me on Facebook, y'all. The Brother Life page of my page, Naaman Williams. I'm on IG, Naaman Williams. Man, hook up with me. We ain't finna go back to church no time soon. So keep me, follow me on stream somewhere. And God bless y'all. And thank you, Cody. Love you, Raj.
All right, I go to church at Freedom Temple.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cody. I haven't heard you mention it in a while.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a member. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on the Excel spreadsheet.
I told you I was gonna get you.
Give knows I'm a member.
I told you I was gonna get you.
Give knows I'm a member. But I stop in. I make honorable stops at St. Mark, Prayer Tower, pretty much anywhere where they allow me to show up. So.
All right. But you ain't come to the hood yet. You ain't come to the hood.
You haven't invited me, man.
Oh, so Warren Doors invited you?
Well, Damon invited us, so that's kind of like how it works. So if Damon says something, it just kind of works at Prayer Tower. But anytime y'all need me, I'm happy to be on that front row.
Okay, I'm gonna get you some security, and I got you.
I appreciate it. As long as I don't gotta wear a tie, I will come to your service. I don't do that stuff.
Well, you ain't watched my service then.
Rod, where can they connect with you?
IG, it's Roger that 0121. If you don't like cars, don't follow me because I post a lot of car content. I'm a car nut. You know me, and pretty simple: cars, sports, family, God. That's pretty much my summary. But I appreciate being on here. I enjoyed it. Let's do it again. Feel pretty comfortable doing this. So looking forward to the next one. Love y'all.
All right, love y'all. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for staying tuned to this episode of Is What It Is podcast. Next week, we got some amazing stuff. How to be a leader without pastoring. I'm looking forward to that because that is not in my future. God bless you guys. Connect with me on CPMK 33. Till next time. Thanks.